Hey, it's Troyia Monay, back to y'all with another video. Today's video, you guys, we are talking all things social media. What is going on in today's world as it relates to TikTok, as it relates to a lot of new apps that are coming onto the scene right now, and the possible TikTok ban. We're going to be talking about it in today's video. What should we be doing? Should we be preparing? Should we be going through and going on other apps? What should we be doing right now as Congress is in the middle of deciding whether or not they are going to be banning TikTok? Let's go ahead and dive right on into today's video. All right, you guys, so first things first, I really just want to make sure that I clarify why exactly TikTok is even being considered for a potential ban. What happened? What's going on? Why is TikTok potentially getting banned? So number one, you guys, TikTok is owned by a company called ByteDance. ByteDance is a Chinese-owned company, and the U.S. government has definitely gone through and stepped up and have made a lot of accusations that TikTok and ByteDance are basically stealing a lot of information or personal information and data as it relates to American citizens. So what this means is that they have a lot of concerns about data, about the users' data, the people who actually have these apps downloaded on their phone. They feel as though that since it is a Chinese company, you know, the U.S. does not have the best relationship with China, that they are stealing information and using it for their advantage, right? So there's this huge national security type of issue going on here as it relates to TikTok, right? Because TikTok is not owned by an American company, basically the U.S. government has trust issues thinking that TikTok may be using that information, like I said earlier, to their advantage against American citizens. There's also a lot of accusations concerning kids as it relates to their mental health, as it relates to them being addicted to the app. And in my opinion, we're going to talk about this in just a second. Actually, let's talk about it now. In my opinion, I feel like, yes, the data security is very important. And yes, the children and their safety and, you know, their education and the addiction as it relates to TikTok is very important as well. But I feel like the real issue here is the fact that TikTok allows us to get information, users' information, in lightning speed. I don't know about you, and sometimes I feel ashamed for even saying this. I don't watch the news anymore. I stopped watching the news after COVID for the simple fact that I felt like the news was definitely going through and putting stories and situations in a way that it would kind of like hinder people and kind of like make us scared all in all. Like I just stopped watching it for that simple fact because I felt like it was making me scared. It was making me anxious. It was going through and it was making me have anxiety sometimes just finding out all of these things that were happening on in the world. And to be completely honest, now I get all of my information from social media. Of course, I do have like text alerts on my cell phone from news, different things like that. So I'm still plugged in, but actually sitting down and watching the news, I couldn't do it after COVID. So I feel like another reason why they are trying to ban TikTok is just that we have access to information in lightning speed. However, just listening to Congress and really just focusing in on what's going on right now as it relates to TikTok, I feel like Congress is using that to their advantage just a little bit because they don't want us to have access to real information. If you guys don't know, when you are watching the news, that stuff is filtered. They have so many different guidelines, so many different things that they can and they cannot say. And I know this because I come from a journalism background and I'm a PR major, right, when I was in college. So I know that there's so many different lanes as to where the news can go with their stories. However, with TikTok, I can say whatever I want to say when I want to say it, and it might be true and it might not be true. So the government right now is saying that it's a lot of misinformation. And I don't think that it's necessarily misinformation. I think that it's just true information. Of course, not all of it's going to be factual, but those are pretty much the reasons as to why they want to ban TikTok. The national security and as it relates to users' data. The second thing, of course, is children, their mental health, addiction. There definitely have been a lot of suicide claims because of TikTok, which is very serious as well. And then, of course, the misinformation, if you will, of information as it relates to things that we're digesting on TikTok and all of these other social media platforms as well. So that is why TikTok is potentially getting banned. So now I want to talk about like, where is TikTok currently banned? Because there are a lot of countries who are not playing with TikTok right now. And I feel like the U.S. is more so kind of like the last big country, if you will, that's kind of like jumping on this, trend of banning TikTok. So you have India, you have Pakistan, Afghanistan, UK has definitely gone through and banned TikTok, Taiwan, Canada, Belgium, Denmark, New Zealand. So those are the countries so far that have banned TikTok, which is quite a few of the larger countries, right? Of course, there's still so many different countries out there too. And then I don't know if this is 100% true, but I've definitely heard, and I think I read that TikTok itself isn't necessarily banned in China. However, the content on TikTok in China is only like informational and educational content for children. So it kind of does look like, well, you don't even, this is a Chinese owned country and you aren't even representing the app in your own country, right? So, in my opinion, I feel like that's just like another way for the US to kind of point the finger and be like, well, what's going on? Because why don't you have your same app inside of your country, right? Another thing that the US has definitely gone through and done most recently is there is no TikTok. TikTok is completely banned in the US on all government devices. So any government owned computers, iPads, cell phones, anything that is owned by the actual government itself, you cannot access TikTok on it too. And to take it a step further, I actually just read that a lot of colleges are starting to ban TikTok on their campuses as well. That doesn't mean that you can't use TikTok on your cell phone while you are on a college campus. That just means that if I am on, let's say I go to FAMU, the school that I graduated from, they haven't banned TikTok on their campus, but Florida State, for example, they have. So if I was on Florida State's campus and I was signed into their Wi-Fi, I would not be able to go through and use TikTok on, college campuses. So a lot of colleges are starting to go through and ban it too, just because of the data that they'll be able to get on the students as it relates to student loans, I'm sure, as it relates to just their education as a whole too. So that is just a little bit as to, what's going on as it relates to TikTok. So I know a lot of you guys are thinking, well, what information are they collecting? Why is this so important? Like, what information is TikTok going through and taking? And I'm an avid TikTok user. I feel like in this day and age, it sounds crazy, but I feel like I'm not not the only one who's going to agree with me here. Let me know down below in the comments if you agree with me. But I feel like in this day and age, Google, I'm not going to say Google is a thing of the past because I'm quick to Google something. But me personally, if it's like a quick search, I'm going to probably go on TikTok because I'm a visual person. I like to be able to kind of see the experiences and different things like that. So if I'm looking for a new restaurant, if I'm looking for a new hairstylist, if I'm looking for a new nail tech, I'm probably going to go do those things that I'm looking for, more so like service-based or locally. I'm probably going to go look on TikTok on those things so I don't have to go through and read through 1,000 reviews. I'm getting a literally visual representation of how my food might look, how my nails might look, how my hair might look. So they're collecting a lot of data as it relates to the things that we're doing on an everyday basis. So let me expand upon that for just a second. So they're collecting your name, your address, your phone number, your images, your email, similar to a lot of other social media platforms. However, they are going through and scanning your content, which is all photos, all videos. They're scanning through your DMs. They have your credit card information, your billing information, and your shipping address if you've made any purchases within the actual TikTok app itself. They have your IP, they have your mobile carrier, all of your cookies, your location, and so many more. User data that they're going through and collecting. And do I find that this is dangerous? Yes. Will I stop using TikTok? And if it is banned, I'm still going to use it, to be completely honest with you. And it's not that I don't care that the data is being taken. I just don't believe, as of right now, that there's proven facts that it's using against our will, if you get what I'm saying there. And I feel like that's where TikTok is coming in right now, and they've made plenty of statements. The CEO, Mr. Chu, I want to say is how you pronounce his last name. He's made several statements to Congress saying how unfair this is, how unjust this is, and that TikTok, it does not pose any type of ban. Like they're not using the data for any type of, negative doing or anything along those lines. Of course, that's just his word against, the U.S. government. But at this point, there's no concrete details saying that the TikTok is using this information for, the worst, right? So what does this mean for users, you guys? What does this mean if I'm an avid TikTok user? And what does this mean for any of the users who are just simply using the platform, maybe not for content creation, right? So this means that if this ban were to go through and happen, the app will not disappear off of your cell phone. Like TikTok is not going to just disappear off of your cell phone. What is going to happen is the app will still be on your phone as long as you do not delete it. What is going to happen is you will just be unable to use the app. I'm pretty sure there'll be like a notification that'll come up that might say, you know, this app is unavailable for use. Something along those lines will come up. And you also won't be able to go through and download any software updates. So what this means is if I never had TikTok on my cell phone, what is going to happen is I will never be able to go through and find TikTok on the App Store. It will completely disappear from both the Apple and the Google App Store. So that way no other users can go through and download it. However, I do think it's really important because I've been seeing a lot of people say, well, I'm just going to go and use a VPN. If you guys don't know what a VPN is, it's a virtual private network. And basically what this means is that you are kind of hiding behind a Wi-Fi network, I want to say is what it means. Don't quote me. I want to say you're like hiding behind this like network, and it's a private network, so it's not a public Wi-Fi facing. So your location literally doesn't say, you know, where you are country-wise. So you're able to go through and use it. However, I have read recent articles where it has said that there will be jail time. There will saying that there will be jail time. There will be fines as it relates to people who are trying to go through and use VPNs. In my opinion, I don't think it's that serious. Like if the US bans it, they ban it. I'm not about to go up here and try to go through and use an app, whether or not I could use the VPN for free or not. I'm just not about to like mess up my service on my cell phone or, you know, tamper with the Wi-Fi networks or anything like that just to go through and access an app. So they have gone through and put that statement out there. So I do think that that is important for us all to pay attention. So what is this? What happens in the result that TikTok gets banned for content creators? I just want to send the heavens a beautiful song right now. And I know everyone does not have this story that, thank goodness, TikTok is not my #1 platform. Like if this was YouTube or Instagram gone, I would probably be panicking. But I know that there's so many content creators out there. My heart goes out to them as this ban continues to, you know, we figure out what's going on, right? So if there is a threat for content creators, there's so many different things that can happen. Definitely loss of income, #1. A lot of people have gone through and quit their jobs since the pandemic to be full-time influencers, to be full-time content creators. And a lot of them are getting paid from these apps. A lot of them are getting paid for sponsorships. A lot of them are getting networking deals and brand trips and all of these different things based upon this one platform, right? They're building community. They have audiences, all of these brand deals and all these sponsorships and all of these trips and all of this gifting, P.O. box packages, PR packages, all of these brand deals, all of these things are happening. And my heart truly goes out to these people because if this were to happen, there is going to be a lot of people, specifically millennials and Gen Zers, who will definitely have to go back into the workforce. And what I have to say right now is like, let's figure out how we can prepare. Let's hop into that right now. We got to start preparing ASAP, to be completely honest. And even though TikTok, I never really took TikTok serious, thank God. You know, and it is something that I do want to take serious if it is staying around. It definitely is something that I'm going to be doing a little bit more of, but it isn't my #1 app right now. I've been diving a lot more into YouTube. I've been diving a lot more into Instagram these days because those apps have already been solidified. They've already kind of marked their presence, right? They've been here for years, and I don't think that they're going to go away anytime soon. But I think it's time for us to prepare ASAP. So what can we do to prepare if TikTok were to face a possible ban? So number one, first thing first that I would go through and do is I would go through and build what is called a stand store. If you guys don't know what a stand store is, I'll put mine like right here. And a stand store is basically like a website, but not really in a way. So it's almost puts you in the mind of like a link in bio, or what is it called? A link tree, if you will. It's almost like a link tree, but you also have the ability to sell products on it. You have the ability to add people to your email list on it, different things like that. So if you're not trying to build out an entire website right now to collect emails, I would just do a stand store to build your email list on, because that's what I'm doing right now until my Her Hustle Academy website is completed. So I would do that. Start building out your email list. Start building out your SMS list. You need to get people off of these social media sites and into your own ecosystem and your own network. So if anything were to happen with any of these sites, you have a means of communicating with your audience. So if all of these platforms were to go away, how are we going to talk directly to our audience without us going through and trying to find them, right? So email and SMS is something I would take serious right now. Also, building an omni-channel presence. I've been talking to my students about this for the past few months of how important it is to make sure that you have a little bit of a presence on all platforms, right? So like I said, even though I'm not taking TikTok serious, one thing that I have been doing is I have been repurposing my reels from Instagram and just posting them over into TikTok because it's already the same content form anyway. So that's something that you guys can do too, right? Build an omni-channel presence. What this means is that you are on almost every platform. Your audience can find you on every platform, and you're using a strategy in order to reach your audience on these different platforms according to how the platform is actually being used. So for example, Instagram, we have photos and we have video. TikTok is primarily only video. However, we do know that they introduced a new photo segment part of it. We know YouTube is only video, right? And then we know Twitter is words, right? So just trying to speak the language of these platforms and building that omni-channel presence. So that way your audience will be able to find you. You're building an audience on all different platforms as well. So I would definitely be a lot more aggressive these days, even if you aren't using TikTok. Even if TikTok is not your #1 platform, like I told you guys about me earlier, you got to be a lot more aggressive. If TikTok is going to be banned, guess what? All of those users from TikTok, which is over, I think it's over 1 billion users, which is a third of the U.S. Population, are going to go migrate to these other apps, which means your audience is going to be saturated now with so much more content than they ever have before on those apps that you were on that was not TikTok, if that makes sense, right? So we got to be a little bit more aggressive. We have to get a little bit more competitive and really start to make sure that we are shining as it relates to social media too. So I really want us to talk about, what's next, right? So with all of this being said, with the TikTok ban, we kind of know how we should go through and prepare. I've told you guys why it's even being banned. So what is next as it relates to social media? So as it relates to social media, I feel like right now there are 2 new apps that are starting to kind of make their way. Actually 3. I'll mention the third one too. There's new apps that are trying to kind of go through and make their way up the ladder as it relates to social media. So the first app is Triller, Triller, Triller. And that app is quite similar to TikTok. It is all short form video. And that app is owned by Sony, Warner Brothers, and a couple other companies as well. So you have Triller, that is an entire app that is going to be video content. Very, very, very similar to TikTok. The next app is called Lemon8. Lemon and then the number 8. So Lemon8 has been getting a lot of traction these days. And unfortunately, it is also owned by ByteDance, which is the same company that owns TikTok, right? So I'm not quite sure how this is going to play out. If TikTok is banned, is also Lemon8 banned? In my opinion, I probably feel like it is, because at the end of the day, ByteDance is the Chinese-owned company. However, we know TikTok and Lemon8 are not U.S.-based companies, and that's the issue in the first place, is that the U.S. doesn't have control over it, especially finance-wise. So we want to make sure that we probably pay attention to it. But those of you guys who don't know what Lemon8 is, it is basically an app that is almost like if Instagram and Pinterest and TikTok had a baby. Like all of these platforms had a baby. It puts you in the mind of Pinterest because it is very guide-like and how-to-like and style-guidey and educational. It puts you in the mind of Instagram because you're literally scrolling through it as if you're scrolling through Instagram, and you're able to see captions, comments, all of the different things, DMs. And the reason why I say that it looks like Pinterest is because the entire board of Lemon8 literally looks like an entire Pinterest board when you're scrolling through it. So it's literally like all of these different platforms all in one, and that is Lemon8. It's very aesthetic. If that's your thing, I would definitely check it out. I've gone through and posted my own content on there too, and it seems to be doing a little good. I mean, I don't know. It's not doing great, but I mean, I got a little bit of traction. So that is Lemon8. And then the last app that I want to mention to you guys is called Fanbase. And Fanbase is a really cool app where you are based, it almost kind of puts you in the mind of Instagram. What is the name of that one app where you're able to talk on it? It's so good during the pandemic. Clubhouse. So it puts you in the mind of Clubhouse and Instagram and YouTube all in one almost. And it's literally like a fan base, almost like an OnlyFans, if you will. As well. So it puts you in the mind of that, and that's another app that is also Black owned, which I think is really cool, that is climbing up the ladder as well there too. So that is it, you guys, for today's video. Hopefully you learned something. Hopefully you had a good takeaway. Definitely, let's find a way to pivot here. Whether or not TikTok gets banned or not, I think that this is a really great time for us to really make sure that we're prioritizing taking our communities off of social media and us truly owning our communities. These social media platforms own our communities, and we don't. So I think it's another just realization for all of us to really make sure that we're tapping in and we're actually owning our communities and not letting social media get away with taking our communities from us. So that is all I have for you guys today. Make sure you guys go ahead and like, comment, and subscribe, and I will see you in the next video. Peace.